In this episode, we're exploring 4 historic downtown tours. Care for a stroll?
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
We are starting our walking tour of Wisconsin in Burlington at the White River State Trail. It's a long, diverse trail, and as its name suggests, it runs right along and over the White and Fox Rivers. The confluence of these 2 streams is where it all began. On a cold December day back in 1835, Burlington's first 2 settlers arrived at the convergence of the Fox River and White River. With the rivers providing power to run saw and grist mills, the city quickly began to grow and thrive. Let's begin in the heart of Burlington on Chestnut Street, whose intricately designed buildings have seen a number of businesses come and go over the years. However, the Meinhardt Bank building across the street, now occupied by Chase Bank, happens to be the oldest building in the state built for and still used as a bank. Although not nearly as old, the stop on this bend that gets the most traffic today is the Coffee House of Chestnut and Pine, where I met up with Dan, a local history teacher, to get a little background on the history of Burlington.
Don and his team at the Historical Society have done a fantastic job of putting together a walking tour that any average citizen can do on their own. It provides details of what they're looking at, as well as like the steps of where you should go. You know, my goal as a history teacher goes much deeper than just the classroom. I take my kids all over the country, but I try to show them that some of the best places to go see are in their own town here in Burlington, Wisconsin.
That's a good lesson. I love that. What is it about this city that warrants a historical walking tour in the first place?
A couple of our citizens here in Burlington have done some remarkable things, and a lot of the founding members. The main one, if you take a look at the Burlington Historical Walking Tour, is Dr. Edward Dyer. Not only was he a physician, but he was the commander-in-chief of the Underground Railroad here in Burlington.
Was he pretty controversial back then?
He's a radical. I mean, this is against the law. I mean, this is one of those things where people don't recognize that he's breaking the law by doing something that we think today as ethically good.
Right.
But what he's actually doing is going against the United States government.
With the caffeine flowing, I headed to the next stop on the walking tour, the Museum of the Burlington Historical Society, to see the monument dedicated to Dr. Edward Dyer. The sculptor, Tom Jones, carved the monument from the same stone as his other famous work, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. Commissioned and donated by Dr. Francis Meinhardt in 1913 as a way to give back to his hometown, the sculpture is an original and unduplicated work of Chicago artist George Etienne Gainier. The monument depicts Lincoln giving his second inaugural address, Words of Lasting Peace. And our last stop, the reason for Burlington's existence. You can walk right up to it and stand at the spillway. One of the very first settlers, Moses Smith, built his log and boulder dam here in 1836 to essentially start a sawmill business, which quickly blossomed into a booming industry and a flourishing town. Heading back downtown, on our way out, we were able to catch a performance by the oldest continuously performing theater group in Wisconsin, the Haylofters, who have been performing in the area since 1932. Plan your adventures in every corner of our state by watching Discover Wisconsin anytime, anywhere. Coming up, we're headed to the cheese capital of the world, people. Stick around. We're back on our walking tour of Wisconsin. Welcome to Plymouth, Wisconsin, one of the earliest settlements in Sheboygan County. The community dates back to 1845, when settlers from Pennsylvania were traveling back from Sheboygan Falls with their wagons of lumber. They settled not far from this spot, and as more people began to follow, the settlement of Plymouth was soon born. Wow, so they came here for just 4 days?
Yes.
And painted how many murals?
21 murals.
In 4 days?
Yes.
That is crazy. And you were here for that?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was extremely exciting.
The Wall Dog movement began in 1993 and has been going strong ever since, traveling all over the country preserving historic downtown areas. These walls reflect the stories that have brought each town to where it is now. In June 2011, they converged onto historic downtown Plymouth. I love that you literally can walk to so many of them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's all within a 6-block radius or so.
Where we're standing right here, you can actually see at least 4 of them without even moving at all.
Right.
I mean, it's a gorgeous downtown. It's a very beautiful downtown. Then you add all these wonderful murals on top of that, and it's just, there's things to see around every corner.
Yes.
I love it.
We're really proud of our downtown.
You should be. Each of these murals has a story to tell of Plymouth's history. And as the cheese capital of the world, cheese has played a big role. Another mural that can especially attest to that is just outside the downtown, at the Sartori East Main Caves. We first meet up with Jim Sartori. You've been in Plymouth your whole life, essentially. Obviously, Plymouth and cheese go hand in hand, so I feel like you are the guy to give us that Plymouth history.
My grandfather, Paolo, who was a poor Italian immigrant, had come over at the turn of the century and worked many years at lots of different places until he discovered Plymouth, Wisconsin in 1939. So Paolo Sartori and my dad, Joe Sartori, who was a 21-year-old graduate student, started this little company, which at that time was S&R Cheese, Sartori and Rossini.
When the Wall Dogs came to Plymouth and asked Jim how they would like their company represented on the mural, it was only natural for him to choose the original founder, his grandfather, Paolo. That mural resides right near the rock landmark dedicated to the first building built in Plymouth.
Yeah, to be a part of that is something special. We're proud of Plymouth. We love Plymouth. It's been our home for over 80 years. And we think it's special. The cheese production that we do here can only happen because of the great family farms that ship their milk to us and really help us. Our mission is to make the best cheese in the world, and we feel like this is the best spot to make the best cheese in the world.
From Isaac Thorpe, Plymouth's first resident, to the 19th century industrial growth of Plymouth Bottling Works, there's so much you can learn in a short walk here. And what better time to take the walk than during their cheese capital wine walk? 20 downtown businesses become wine tasting rooms, where visitors can check out each business and enjoy a wine sample, along with local cheese tastings and live music. With colorful murals helping to tell this city's story, Plymouth is fully embracing and celebrating its rich cheese history. Head to discoverwisconsin.com, where you'll find a list of everything to see in each of these historic downtowns. Coming up, the mural capital of Wisconsin. Stay with us. You're back with Wisconsin's Walking Tours. Ashland sits on the shores of Lake Superior at Chequamegon Bay in northern Wisconsin. The first settlers came to Ashland in 1854, but a series of troubles drove most of them away by 1870. Prosperity later returned in the form of logging and iron ore mining in the area, and Ashland quickly came to be. Here we have another community full of breathtaking art. However, the murals here in Ashland are created by just 2 local artists. Sue Martinson started painting murals with fellow artist Kelly Meredith 21 years ago, when they received a grant for the first historical mural to be made downtown. Today, the city is full of their work.
I do mural tours, and quite often the tourists will say to me when they're done, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know Ashland had such fabulous history." And I tell them, your community has fabulous history. You just haven't paid attention to it. Because all of our murals in Ashland are historical and based on actual historical accounts and photographs. That requires a lot of research. And because quite often now community people suggest a mural, we'll work with those community people to help develop the design and research and get those photographs. Once that's done, then the painting process starts.
So this is the lumberjack mural?
Correct.
Feels very Northwoods appropriate.
It is.
Tell me a little bit about the history and why this was selected as a theme of this particular mural.
This was a wall that was suggested to us by the business owner. They said, you can do any theme that you want. We thought, what was a big industry? And obviously the lumber industry was huge in all of northern Wisconsin. And so that's what we decided we would do. And then we started to try and figure out, how do we show somebody walking by or driving through how big an impact the loggers made in this community.
When you look at a mural, I think it raises so many questions. It's not all just outrightly obvious as to what you can tell. There's a story behind
Correct.
What you're seeing. And then that I'm guessing that's a big part of the reason as to why you offer tours like this one.
It is.
Okay.
It really is. We started referring to them as our outdoor museums, which is really what they are. I like to think that these people and these buildings really still exist, and that they will just step off the wall and tell somebody a story. The trouble was, we needed a brochure for other people to understand that.
Yes. Makes total sense.
Exactly.
All right, Sue, so this is the women's mural.
Correct.
I like it already.
Of course.
Yes. How many women do we have up here?
We have 32 women
32
up here. We actually got submissions, across eras up until modern time. We have nurses, teachers, homemakers, civic leaders, everything. Everybody wanted to document the railroads or the logging industry. And so necessarily they were mostly men. But who was always in the background? Who was always helping and doing and picking up the slack were the women. And that's what these women did. And that's why we depicted them on this mural. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. As Sue likes to say, the walls are alive with the past here in Ashland. And with such a deep history, there are so many more stories still waiting to be told here.
People will say to me, well, you should be painting in New York or Chicago. No, people from Chicago should be coming here and finding out what the history of a small town is like.
Head to discoverwisconsin.com to check out some of the action behind the scenes of this episode. Get ready to jam out at our last walking tour of Wisconsin next. We're back, and we're still walking around the state. Originally called Prairie Village, the city of Waukesha is located along the banks of the Fox River. The first sign of industry came in 1838 when a sawmill was constructed along the river to supply lumber for community building projects. From there, the city grew exponentially. In 2012 and 2013, Gibson Guitar Company selected Waukesha for its 8th and 9th worldwide Guitar Town designation to honor the birth and final resting place of guitar legend Les Paul. I kicked off my Waukesha tour at a performance center in Cutler Park dedicated to the legendary musician. Let me start off right up front with Les Paul. Who was he exactly, and what was his connection to Waukesha, Wisconsin?
Les Paul is the only person who is in both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the National Inventors Hall of Fame, which sort of tells you who he was. He was a gold record performer, and he also was the inventor of the solid body electric guitar and many recording industry inventions.
Wow. You had mentioned that he had spent the majority of his life out in New Jersey, but he decided to be buried here when he passed away, which I think is very telling as to how much this community impacted him, don't you think?
It It did. I was very surprised when he told me he wanted to be buried here, and I said, Les, why? You know, it's great, I'm thrilled, I'm thrilled, but why? And he said, it all started in Waukesha, and the people of Waukesha always supported me. And he said, it seemed logical to me that I should come back to Waukesha. It started here, should end here.
Sounds like he never forgot where he came from.
He didn't. And if people want to know about Les, it's fun to take the tour, but they really should, I would say, start at the Waukesha County Museum so that you get an overall view of who he was and what affected him and how he affected other people. And then I think as you go around the city, you go, oh, okay, that's where that happened, and the pieces will come together for you.
We took Sue's advice to heart and started the Les Paul walking tour at the Waukesha County Museum for the Les Paul Experience. From his beginnings in his living room laboratory, experimenting with his mother's player piano, to his work in perfecting what would become the Gibson solid body electric guitar, the immersive exhibit explores the innovative and tenacious spirit of Les. There's so much to see in this downtown with sculptures everywhere you look. And in 2013, the Wall Dogs made their mark here as well, with their vibrant colors and creative designs, working alongside local artists.
They were a fun group.
Yeah.
And the mural painting was very interesting. As you can see, some of these were painted on panels, not directly on the walls.
Sure.
We are a very old town, so some of the buildings, and this is one of the historic ones with the local land and stone, we wouldn't want to paint on those. They may not be the best surfaces.
Well, and this is one of the more intricate murals I've seen. I mean, there's a lot of detail in this one.
Yes.
And we're seeing the farmer's market, the art crawl, and Friday Night Live here, all on one mural.
Yes.
I love seeing a city that clearly is really embracing its history and also really, just as you said, embracing the art and the music too. You don't always see that, everywhere. It's really cool that it's clearly celebrated here in Waukesha.
Being an artist and a musician my entire life, that's the two most important things to me. I've lived here, I'm fourth generation Waukesha, and once I retired, this is what I wanted to do. And it's been very successful, we've been very fortunate.
Les Paul's spirit comes alive in downtown Waukesha in the summer. Each week, Friday Night Live brings out a variety of live music and locals that will line the streets for blocks.
I think walking tours are a fantastic way to get to know a city and the people in it. Suddenly, when you're on foot in a downtown area, you kind of take things in at a much slower pace. I had my camera with me the whole time and taking in everything from the people to the architecture to the storefronts to just the scenery in general. I don't know of a better way to take in a town.
And I think my favorite part of these walking tours is the people that we've met who are so passionate about telling the story of their community. The interesting history of these locations, the structures, the legends that once walked these roads, that's what we want to learn about. But it's the people who help make these tours and projects possible, who ignite the past and bring it alive for us today. Stream Discover Wisconsin anywhere, anytime. Continue the adventure on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, Smart TV, Chromecast, and discoverwisconsin.com.